I'm a very active and have been all my life outdoorsman, hunter and fisherman and guide or registered guide. I do everything. I make fly rods, I tie flies, I make cedar boats and canoes. I can't climb stairs anymore. I don't have the capacity, lung capacity. They removed my right lung, most of my right lung, in this growth.
We moved in this building, and I have to tell you that I was instantly aware that something was wrong, but I didn't realize at the time what it was. The symptoms that I had were burning eyes, rashes on my face, itching, burning rashes, shortness of breath. I had to leave the building several times just to catch my breath. Dizziness, the feeling I might collapse, my legs might collapse out from under me and on the stairs. That's not nice. Nausea.
According to the findings of air quality experts, these employees, like thousands of other workers in this country, suffer from sick building syndrome, a range of physical problems that come from working in buildings with poor air quality. The problem is made worse because most office buildings are tightly sealed with inadequate supplies of fresh air. Employees working in tight buildings are at the mercy of the ventilation system. The systems often trap and recirculate germs, fumes, and pollutants from people, office machinery, carpets, and the air conditioning system itself. The result? Tight buildings are making people sick.
We have one individual who has had lung problems. She had lost function in some of her lungs, got full workers' comp benefits, directly related to the air conditions here in the building.
Whenever I worked in other district offices, I wasn't experiencing a lot of problems with headaches or colds. I hadn't had colds for many years. In fact, when I came up here, I started getting colds, sore throats, earaches, having breathing problems. The minute I'd go home or for the weekend, I'd feel better.
The ventilation system in the building is very poor and inadequately maintained. There's not enough fresh air coming in. The maintenance is very poor. The filters aren't changed. The ducts are very dirty. We have one duct where dead bugs come out of it and land on someone's desk. It's literally coated with dead bugs in the morning.
After years of inaction by employers to individual grievances, 3 labor unions in northern New England joined forces in an unusual coalition to call attention to the problem of indoor air pollution and to get some action.
Well, the Indoor Air Quality Coalition project got started as a result of discussions between the leadership of the Maine State Employees Association and the state employees of New Hampshire. We've had a long history of working together over the years, and added to the resources of SEIU, they felt that this was an issue that needed dealing with.
We were looking for help. These are the issues today that if you're sitting there all by yourself without anyone to turn to, you need the information and you need an organization that's there to help you to get that information.
Well, when SEA came to us and asked us about getting involved in this indoor air pollution project, we responded in a very favorable way because we represent thousands of workers in office buildings, and this could be a model program for many other parts of the country.
Coalition leaders felt a bold, fresh effort was needed to publicize the issue, study the problem, get some answers, and write some standards into the law. Press conferences were called in the 2 state capitals.
Clean air is something that we have come to think of as a right.
The problem that we face is that the problem is often worse in the buildings that look the best. This isn't the old-fashioned kind of worksite hazard where anybody can walk and see an open saw blade or something and know that, well, this is hazardous. These conditions look good, maybe look like the most desirable of all working conditions.
In Phil Thornton's case, the Human Services building in Caribou looked nice enough, but it sits on land that's been the site of dumping by the railroad, a dry cleaners, and an old filling station with seeping underground tanks. And when rains come to Caribou in late summer, the basement floods, sending fumes through the venting system and into the offices of state employees like Phil.
Right away, everybody started to experience headaches, nausea, skin irritations, eyes burning, watering of the eyes. I go home practically every night with a headache and be tired. That's another symptom, just completely worn out. On weekends, you would notice you didn't have these problems, or especially on a vacation. If you were away from the building for a week, then you felt like $1 million again.
When the state of Maine finally tested employees at the Caribou site, patterns of symptoms emerged. Independent labs confirmed what employees had known all along. The air in the building was dangerously polluted with chemicals, microbes, and a rare type of fungi. The same fungi that was found in Phil Thornton's lung.
The specialist could not. He didn't know what this was. He'd only seen one case like this in his career, and he's a man in his 50s. It's a very rare situation. But strangely enough, in 1984 and in January 1986, 2 different independent tests made by 2 different firms found this fungus in the building that I was working in.
With the help of his union, Phil has been fighting for state workers' compensation. 30 other workers in Caribou have also filed claims. Although the state has made changes in the building and restored sick leave to many workers, it has admitted no wrongdoing. The Caribou situation crystallized for the coalition leadership how traditional piecemeal responses were not enough to deal with a problem of this magnitude. It needed to be aired in public. People needed the facts. The Labor Union Coalition held a workshop for its members, bringing together experts on the subject and providing information.
It was only after I saw an article on the tight building syndrome and saw the symptoms listed, read the symptoms, that I realized I wasn't crazy.
People need that validation that they're not crazy. They're not just feeling sick, that everybody around them is feeling sick, and this is one of the problems.
And the coalition brought the New England story to Congress, testifying before Senator Mitchell's subcommittee looking into problems of indoor air pollution.
First of all, to relate some of the problems that we've had in Maine and Hampshire and tell them from the point of view of people that deal with people who face the problems day to day, that there's something very real here, that this isn't imaginary. As a result of those hearings, and probably to some extent, at least as a result of our efforts, a bill has been introduced that for the first time would have the United States Department of Environmental Protection really start developing an indoor air pollution policy for the United States federal government.
As part of their fact-finding effort, the labor union surveyed 4,000 of their members working in state offices. Coalition members discussed preliminary results at an August meeting in New Hampshire.
Now, all those the actual surveys are filed in such a way that we can cross-tab these numbers any way you want to, and then go back and pull those physical questionnaires and look at the comments or whatever else we need to do.
What the survey results are showing us, already we've received over 3,500 responses, is that the problem is somewhat spotty, and what I mean by that is that there are real hotbeds of problems in certain buildings and not in others, which shows us that in fact it's not just a bunch of state employees that are complaining across the board, but in fact in certain buildings there are very serious problems.
Union members like Jim Webster of Maine and Karen Dominick of New Hampshire will take these results to their own state legislatures, where their unions have led the charge before on issues like indoor air quality.
But occupational safety and health issues is something that SEA certainly led the way on, and it certainly proved to be dramatic in people's lives as to how lives have already been affected and how they'll be affected in the future.
One state worker's life hangs in the balance right now. Phil Thornton was ordered to report back to his office in Caribou after a year away at another post. If he quits, he'll lose his health insurance that covers expensive treatment he still receives.
I'm gambling that I've got 14 months to retirement, that I won't incur anything like this again. If it does, I just don't have any chance at all. I already gave my chance away, and that's the way it stands. I'm still real concerned about the other employees there, friends of mine. It's not worth it, especially a younger person. These funguses are a lot more dangerous than you would believe, and this could happen anywhere.